one
puzzle.
Chair one continued. Beyond that, even today, the average IQ of a man is 99 and 97 for a woman. More importantly, however, 7 out of 8 people in the top 1% of IQ are men. Sorry, love, I know it's triggering, but every single man in this chat would dominate intellectually.
But do you realize that that's because men are offered greater opportunities of education?
Men do worse in college. They do worse in college.
So wait, Maren,
You're literally saying that men are intellectually more smarter.
Wait, Maren, you're saying, can you repeat that last thing you just said?
Men are offered greater opportunities for education than women are.
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive.
So just to be, okay, so the statistics would seem to disagree with you.
How so?
Well, ever since it's either 1979 or 1980, there's been more women who go to college than men. That's 4 decades of there being a greater representation of women in higher education. This number today is something like, I think it's 60-40 split.
But if
you look at
an
universities,
extravagantly high number of college graduates facing unemployment. So
but her
the
claim,
number of people going to college has changed in general.
I don't see how this is a rebuttal to my argument.
America has shipped out all blue-collar jobs, so there's a lot less physical labor jobs.
I'm over here. You're way over here. Maren, your point was that there's less opportunity for women as it relates to higher education. Women predominate in higher education. Is this due to sexism against men? Yes or no?
If you look at the, hold on.
Yeah,
if you look at the decades before, like what, 2010 and all the way through history, all of that time, men have been offered you're nodding your head no. But when were women allowed to even go to college and not like finishing school?
They've always been allowed to go to university.
Point blank.
I think there are some.
Maybe if you came from a wealthy family where they could afford to send you.
I'm going to be fair. I do believe that, and I don't know the specifics, there were some universities that did bar women.
Some.
But yes, but women were able to go to university. But back to the point here, if you're going way back historically, you're saying it was only 2010 and after where there was some sort of shift when it came to women's access to higher education. It was 1979, 1980. 1979, 1980, when there were more women, that's 4 decades, more women who started going to college than men. So what this means is, women who went to university in 1979, 1980, they're now retiring. So you've essentially had an entire workforce through the period of that workforce where women started going to university more than men.
Can I see that?
Yeah, we could pull it up. I believe, Mary, go into the Discord. I have it in the, let me just double check here on my phone. I'm pretty sure I have it posted.
Did you go to college?
I dropped out of college.
Which college did you go to? So do you think education matters in how you enter the workforce?
But also,
I think sometimes it can be helpful, I guess.
In a conservative household, men are often pushed towards college more than women. Men are...
This isn't true, but okay.
And how do you know that?
How do you know that your claim is true?
Because there's data about it. You can look it up.
Then if this is actually the case, how could it possibly... Wait, repeat your claim really quick.
What claim?
Your claim that I think you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there's a greater push...
men are more pushed towards furthering a greater education and becoming wealthy than women are.
How could that possibly be true if there are more women who go to university than men?
So you're
how
saying
could that be true?
Because women are slowly starting to try and do
not
better.
just slowly.
He's saying that the statistics are saying men are going into blue-collar trade, which is not university, and that women are going into higher education, which means the women can become the architects and the designers, and the men can still do the labor jobs. I do have it,
Mary. Pull up the infographics tab in the Discord.
I hope that keeps happening. I hope that grows to be complete.
If you were oppressed for so many years, you're finally gonna have the opportunity to do it. So men are failing because it's on their own demerit. They're playing video games, they're wasting their own lives, they're not trying to have goals like we do.
Wait, so just to be clear, so when men have some sort of negative life outcome, it's due to men's choices, but when women have negative life outcomes, it's due to other men and sexism. So men have agency, women don't. I actually think I have the greater feminist position. Men have agency, women have agency. If there's a negative life outcome, it's not because of some evil boogeyman patriarchy. It's because of women's choices. When men have negative life outcomes, it's often due to their own choices too. To be fair, there are sometimes external circumstances that can push you towards negative life outcomes, but I think a lot of negative life outcomes come down to individual choice. Can you pull it up, please?
Yeah, is it the wage tab?
No, it's all the way to the top. Just go to the infographics tab. Scroll, just pull it up and pull it all the way to the top, please. All the way to the top. Okay, so no, scroll down, it's one down. College. Okay, click on the first one and we're going to tab through these. So percentage of U.S. population who have completed 4 years of college or more from 1940 to 2021 by gender. So it starts in 1940. Completed. Okay, so this is completed. So this would factor in going even further back. Go to the next one for me. U.S. college degrees by gender, 2017. So this is in 2017. There's 100 males for every 141 females. Male, 41%. Females, 58%. That's from the U.S. Department of Education, and it includes associates, bachelor's, master's, and doctor's degrees. Next. So this is the year. This is the male enrollment, female enrollment, and the number of more females. So in 1980, there were essentially half a million more females going to university than males. If we go to, I can't see it because we're blocked, but like 2010, there were 7.8 million men enrolled in university and 10.2 million women enrolled in university. 2.4 million more women than men enrolled. That's in 2010. But it goes all the way back to 1980. Next. U.S. college enrollment by gender, 1947 to 2019. Oh, this was the one I was looking for.
Beautiful.
U.S. college enrollment by gender. So if you look there, the bluish one, it's a little hard to tell in one. Bluish one is men. The green one is women. In 1980, that's when the overlap changes. Mm-hmm. So, and even if you look historically, the gap between in 1950, the gap between men and women in 1950s, so there were more men in 1950. If you look at the gap from the 2000s on, or even 1990 on, that discrepancy is greater in favor of women. So there's more women enrolling in university. Next.
I was about to say, can I say something?
Let's get through these. Also, this is men and women study different things. This is sort of related to the wage gap here. But let's just go next. This is for, where is this? Total number of students, undergraduate. This is for I think this is for UCSB. 61% women, 39% men. Next. Percentage of all college degrees, female versus male. That's another one. Next. Total fall enrollment. Same, I think. Next. Okay, this is the University of California system. The gender ratios. Blue, male, red, female. So you see there's an overrepresentation of women in the gender ratios for every single University of California system, with the exception of UC San Diego. There's a little bit more men, and then UCSC looks about equal. Next. And then boys are less likely to earn a high school diploma. Oh, this is about high school. Okay, less likely to earn a high school diploma, less likely to meet UC California and California State University requirements, less likely to earn a biliteracy seal, less likely to earn a golden. I don't know what that is, but okay. So I don't know. This idea that men are overrepresented in universities has not been the case for 4 decades.
Well, I didn't say overrepresented. I said push towards it more. And really quickly, let me say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think any of this has to do with the fact that men know that they're more likely to get jobs even without a college degree, and women have to work harder to get a job, and they have to have more college education than a man does in order to even get there?
I wouldn't say that that's the reason.
Okay. Well, it could be one, maybe.
I mean, I don't see a difference. I don't think there actually is much of a difference in terms of wages between, let's say both of them have a high school diploma, between a man and a woman. And I think there's actually certain positions where a woman is probably better suited to get, I think, a higher paying job right out of high school than a man. And I'm not even going to factor in sex work to my argument, because I just think that wouldn't really even suit myself. But
work on YouTube and YouTubers, those people don't go to college and they make a lot of money.
Let me quickly
women
ask.
are also.
I'm just saying in general, a lot
social media people too.
I would also love to see the confirmation bias on these articles. You know what I'm talking about?
The ones I just pulled up?
Yeah.
Confirmation bias.
When you look for certain things, you'll find certain things. Was all of this about California, or was it about the entire world?
Some of those were for California. The others were for the entirety of the United States.
Oh, about the world.
Just
the U.S.?
Yeah, where I'm talking about, the U.S.
Okay.
But I would suspect this pattern is the same in other Western countries. Now, if you wanted to make arguments about Eastern countries, that's
totally
not really
different ballpark.
That's not my area of expertise.
Totally different ballpark.
But I would actually be probably willing. You know what? I'm not sure actually.
We don't have to talk about
because I don't know. Well, I could
talk about religion.
There could be a case that there's more men going to university in some of these Eastern countries, but if I was looking at like certain Asian countries, or like India, for example, I'm not actually sure if it's the case. I don't know. So I don't want to make a claim that's just, I don't know.
Well, if
Smart
we're
people
not
from other
talking
countries
about
come
feminism in the entire world and just the U.S. is way more progressive than than most of the rest of the world.
We got a chat coming through here, and then we'll get the rest of the chats.
Pasty George donated $200. And Chair 1 proves why we have a child birth rate crisis by reciting her feministic bullshit. Good job.
Well, first of all, you have no clue how many children I want to have in the future.
How many do you want?
I don't know. Probably more than 2. 2, maybe more. I don't want them to be lonely. I'm an only child. Second of all, if I don't want to give birth, then I'm not going to give birth, and that's none of your fucking issue. So, who cares if there's a child rate crisis? Honestly, the world would be better off without humans anyway.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. No, let's just do a little. Wait,
the world would be better off without humans anyway?
Are you an anti-natalist?
What do you mean?
Like you don't like children, or you're against?
No, absolutely not.
But you said the world would be better off without
a perfect world.
There would be no humans?
I think, yeah.
Well, I mean, it begs the question then, what's stopping you from just unaliving?
Myself?
Yeah.
The fact that there's an entire world of people around me, so it wouldn't really do much if I just killed myself.
Well, okay.
Sorry, unalived myself.
It's fine. But you said that the world would be better off. That sounds like an ought claim.
Like global warming and like all the issues we have because we live on an overpopulated planet wouldn't exist if there were less
happening,
humans.
nukes wouldn't be happening.
Yeah, but then
it would
we wouldn't
be much
be alive.
simpler. Well,
but then we just wouldn't be alive.
And correct. And I'm saying we're already here, so
Wait, hold on. Wait.
They're evil.
Dinosaurs are going to come back? Hold on. How the fuck is that?
I didn't say that. I'm just saying if evolution skipped human beings and it was just monkeys and the rest of the world.
Damn, that's a hot take there. That's a hot take. But it does beg the question if like humans are
the most mass destruction of the planet. Mm-hmm. Without humans, I think things would be a lot more peaceful. We're already here. I'm not saying we should kill all humans. I'm just saying we're already here, so it's already happened. However, technically, the world would be better off without.
So if I were to, I guess I could go ahead and grant that humans are destructive towards the planet, although what precisely does that mean? I'm sure you enjoy like living in an air-conditioned house and having heating and running water.
Of course.
So
however, if I was born and raised with none of that, I would survive.
I think we sometimes take for granted the comforts of modernity.
Oh, I love the comforts we have. However, the comforts come with a cost.
Yes, they do.
The comforts exist. And I'm only here for a short amount of time, and so is everyone else.
Wait, hold on.
I understand that those comforts are a big thing.
I think global warming, some people even dispute if this is the severity of it and all sorts of things. I think this is, assuming it is the case, is a necessary evil. Like if you look at electricity, I guess the usage of fossil fuels have brought more people out of poverty than sort of like anything else. Well, maybe not. Energy is what has brought more people out of poverty and starvation. If you look at the global, what's the exact term? Like the global poverty rate has greatly been diminished through human ingenuity. And so if you look at these sort of civilizations or populations where there was mass amounts of like hunger And poverty, we've been able, through energy usage and introducing industrialization to them, we've been able to bring them slowly out of poverty, out of hunger, out of starvation. So I think, are there negative consequences of industrialization and this sort of thing and energy usage? Sure, but I think the benefits outweigh the costs.
But poverty is a construct created by humans. Monkeys don't look at other monkeys and say, they're poor, we're going to not give them food. Like, in most animals, they just have a way of living, and it just continues on, and it's just the way it is. We've created a whole system that's much more complicated, which again, I'm not saying all humans deserve to be abolished. I'm not saying we should.
Isn't that what you were saying?
No, I'm saying that if the world was going to be perfect, maybe we wouldn't have evolved to this point. To a point where we're so intellectual that we can create such giant systems that harm the rest of the planet. That's all I'm saying. Huh. We're already here, so might as well enjoy it and do what we can to try and save the planet. But if we had all stayed primates and none of this complex stuff would happen, we wouldn't be complaining that we didn't have AC and that we weren't rich. We would just be living life.